I think, we don't start.
The link below, do you see it? Why are you watching me still? You haven't clicked the link yet. Click it, click it. Click the link right now.
But yeah, because when I do my group discussion, when I do my group panels, I gotta bring you for that, if you want to do it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what we're going to talk about. I haven't decided what we're going to talk about yet. But I'm just going to bring some topics out and then just
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Do you speak Spanish?
Sí, claro.
Oh, jeez. I know one was yes.
Claro is the same thing, like clear, like of course. Claro is like of course.
Oh, okay. She's fluent. Wow, that's pretty cool. So off before. You can sing in Spanish?
Yeah, I can sing, period.
Well, I mean,
the way you said it, it sounded like you didn't know I could sing. Sorry, I was like.
but I mean, I didn't know you could say it's like Spanish too. Like that's actually.
Yeah, if I can speak such. Yeah.
That's impressive. So I may be ignorant to this. If I am, it doesn't matter. I'll embarrass myself. But when I hear singing in Spanish, to me, when I hear it, I want the words to rhyme like in English.
Oh.
And I'm like, it didn't rhyme with the first phrase, but it doesn't matter, right?
No, sometimes it should. I think you still have to have the phonology.
I think that's probably what it is.
Like, yeah.
Because I'm like, I don't know where that goes. But then again, I don't understand Spanish. My wife, she understands Spanish. I don't.
Oh, nice.
For me, it was different hearing Tracey sing. I've heard Spanish singers, but like, I didn't listen to Spanish worship until when she would worship in
Oh,
Spanish.
yeah.
I'm like, this sounds a little different.
Some of the like words that flow.
Do you know where this beeping is coming from? Man. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, like I have a song that we're working on. It goes, sube la bocina, que nos vamos para arriba. Dale con gana, sin miedo a nada, sal de tu esquina. I don't know if you heard the
it was nah. But it's not this. See, sometimes when I hear Spanish, that's what I want to hear.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just like, because Spanish music is also very romantic, and it's just kind of like a story. So some artists tend to just tell a story when they're singing.
Yeah.
So, but for the most part, like reggaeton and like more of trappy and like more modern music, you'll hear it rhyming because they want it to translate into like English audiences. Like you can dance around to it and try to sing.
Yeah. I don't know what they be saying. I'm like, yo, they rhyme though. I bet
right? Don't listen to Dominican music because they be talking about all types of crazy stuff.
Dominican music?
It sound hard though, but.
But they be talking about stuff. Do you listen to hip hop? You listen to CHH, Christian hip hop?
No.
No.
That's always been weird. Like CHH? Christian hip hop. Is Canton Jones Christian hip hop? Or like Lecrae?
Lecrae is hip hop.
Okay.
That's right.
Who's like an example? Is CHA a band or you're just?
CHH is Christian hip hop. That's a genre.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's a genre that like I'm like Christian hip hop. I mean, but it's hip hop. I mean, I don't think we got to put Christian in front of it, guys.
Yeah, it's just like, positive music
it's just,
or like.
To me, it's just hip hop. But I was gonna ask you about Reach has a Spanish. A Mexican
Reach
artist.
Ministries?
No, Reach Records.
Oh, okay.
We're still on hip hop.
Oh.
But they have they have an artist, a Spanish speaking rapper. He raps in English too, but he raps in Spanish as well. Like he'll be rapping in English and all of a sudden he'll go into Spanish and I'm like, oh, that transition.
It's cool, yeah. That's what I want to do with my music. Yeah, I want to do like I'm working on an EP and my goal is to show off a little bit more of the Afro Latin with the R&B mix. So we'll see how that goes.
I want to hear that.
I do too.
You gonna put some bars in there? You gonna rap in it?
Like rap with my hands? No. I don't know.
Maybe do like who does a flow like that?
Probably
probably switch like a Janae
Aiko, or like a Kehlani.
Probably do like or something like that. Probably dance to,
Her
like,
will
some-
do stuff like that too sometimes. Yeah, something like that, like more smoothie, like it'll rhyme and
Yeah.
it'll like feel like there's still like some melodies with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just like straight rap, like City Girls.
Nah, it's probably
No.
like that. You were telling the story before we started rolling about living in another country.
Yeah.
I want to hear that story. How did that happen? Where were you, for the people that don't know?
Mm-hmm.
And how did that happen? And what was that experience like?
I mean, right out of college, I went to school, majored in fashion business management. So that
Okay.
was fun. But right out of college, I saw an ad on Craigslist. And it was like asking people to go to Japan for this like new company that was like trying to open up and expand. And I was like, this is like mad sketchy, but it's Japan and it's free. So I told my mom. She prayed about it, of course, but I also grew up like very like a mama's girl. Like she never let us do anything. We didn't travel. We didn't sleep over anyone's house. So for her to even let me go to Japan, I was like, okay, this is God. So I got her approval basically, and when I did it, it was a good experience. I was there for like 3 months. We were in Osaka, which is more of like the working capital for Japan. Everybody had this very similar like demeanor about themselves. Like everyone was like always walking to work, and like even from a style standpoint, everyone was wearing like either blue or navy, black, gray. It was very just like uniform.
Really?
And people were always like going in this direction, and they knew like exactly like where to stand. On the trains, if we took the train anywhere, there was like lines on the floor that told like women where to stand in line and men, and there was a lot of order.
Wow.
Just like stuff on the floor that would tell people where to stand in line, and people were just very organized, like overly organized, super clean streets.
Wow.
Sometimes we would stay out late, like working and stuff, and we would be getting home at like 1, 2 a.m. And it was just so like peaceful, calm, safe. There's like kids hanging out, and it was just different.
Yeah.
Like very safe, very like collective. Like you could just tell everybody around you was like taking care of each other. And also in Japan, the kids go to school on the train by themselves. It's almost like the
What?
yeah, the community watches over the children. So it's like we would see kids always on the subway by themselves. I'm like, oh my God, because I lived in New York, and I'm like, yo, what's this kid doing on the train? And like our people that worked with us, like our chaperones, were like, no, they're going to school. We have to watch them. I'm like, oh, okay.
Wow.
That's like their culture. They're very like collective. Like
Yeah.
they take care of each other.
It's a community. I was going to ask you about like the way they moved and compare it to New York, because New York is busy like that. There's a lot of people doing a lot of different things. It's always crowds. And you're from New York.
I'm from DC.
Oh, DC?
I lived in New York, in
Lived in
Jersey,
New York. Okay.
in Florida.
Okay.
So I've traveled
So-
a lot for work.
Seeing that compared to like the New York busy, like what was that?
Different.
Night
I
and
mean,
day.
New York is like, they don't care. They'll push you down the steps. Like, I will say though, in Japan, there was a high, like, there's a lot of stress. Like the lifestyle, people lived to work. And I'm not saying this about Japan in general. It's just
Right.
kind of like the culture is that you like have to work, and you have to go to school, and you have to get these grades, and you have to become this person, and then like you don't really quit your job. You stay in the same company, and you grow up in that company, and then you retire. But just the lifestyle is different. But I also noticed because of that, the stress level was high. And you know, we're all human. So you either lose your job or you get sick, and the suicide rate was like really high. People would jump in front of trains and stuff just because it was like the pressure was a lot.
Wow.
But yeah, I would say the difference with New York is New York was also fast-paced but disorganized. Like on the trains, obviously people are just cramming in. They don't care. Like it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, you sit there, you're going to the train, there's homeless people looking at you like, yeah. So it was different, but I loved Japan. I would go
Yeah.
back if I could.
That's cool. I talk about it often. I contracted overseas for 2 years. I was
Okay,
in
where?
Afghanistan. I was in a war
Oh.
zone, so I wasn't in like a built up city. But like just being over there and being exposed to like different cultures and seeing different cultures,
Yeah.
it made me a lot more appreciative of being here in America. It made me a lot more appreciative of that. And it made me notice a lot of different things too. And I even with you having that experience, just being over there for the time that you have, and I encourage, if you can travel outside of this country, outside of America, if you can go to another country, not just like the famous,
Like Paris.
Caribbean places and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying, or taking a cruise, but like actually go to like, hop in the plane, go to another country. If you can do that, do it, because I mean, and even if you can live there for an extended period of time to actually observe another culture and like see how they do things, I encourage people to do that if you can, because it literally gives you a view, even of America, that this country may share that you might not be privy to being over here. Because I think sometimes even being in America, we could just have like these stuck up.
And you're
next.
comfortable. And when you're like in a different country, like, and that's true. A lot of people travel out the country, but they go to Jamaica or Dominican Republic, which I'm actually falling into that category right now. It's like all I want to do is go to Dominican Republic. But it's nice though. It is nice, but it's different to be like in Europe or to be in China or like somewhere like really far, because it just opens your mind up too. Like you're so stuck on like your day-to-day routine and the way that you think life should be, and then you go to a whole different country and realize like they have siesta like at 2 to 4, they go home and sleep and then come back and open their store. Like I was in Rome and I was like, why is everything closed right now? And they're like, oh, it's siesta, they're all napping. So
we on break.
It just makes you appreciate life. Like you realize like you really work hard in America, and then you go to another country and they, like in DR, in my country, they live off of the fruit of like their labor. Like my family owns farms and plantations and stuff. So, they go out, they herd and do whatever they need to do. And then at dinner time, they're eating plátanos. And it's a different lifestyle when you see you don't have to clock in somewhere and you just wake up and you eat from what the land around you produces. It's a whole different mindset, and it opens your mind to like just more creativity. So.
That's dope. So when I was over there, I had a chance to visit Dubai.
Oh, nice.
I
haven't been there.
And I was in Europe for a while. And I was in Kuwait. So Kuwait is Kuwait. I got a chance to actually go out into more of their city, because it's not like we still have a military base. We're still occupying places in Kuwait, but it's not an active war zone like Afghanistan was. We go there. They chopper you into your base, or you fly if there's an airport at the base where you're going, if the base is large enough. Most of the bases over there, they're not large enough to have an airport where a plane can land, but you'll chopper from fob to fob. But that's an active war zone. You're not leaving that base.
Oh, yeah.
So you really can't venture into the city and see stuff like that, unless you're convoying out. But my job, I didn't have to convoy out. So it was different, but other nations are there. So I mean, I met people from Egypt, I met some Africans, I met people from Romania. So like all these different countries, and like just to engage with them and interact with them in different, and I'm just like, wow. Like, and a lot of times too, I think sometimes, this is not to harp on America, but we can have this view of a country that's just like so narrow. Yeah. And they're like, oh, this is this country, this is how they are. And then when you meet, and you're like, oh, they're nothing like that at all. You know what I'm saying? And the way they look at us sometimes is not so, like, but, you get it. When you go out there and you start seeing different things, you understand it. But, I mean, that's where the conversation and dialogue comes in, which I think is important. And that's why I was saying, to vacation to a spot, you're going to hit, the American places, and they're going to put you, where the resorts are. They could sometimes be Americanized, but like you were there for 3 months. So you got to, engage with this culture and see life their way. What was the food like over there?
As you were talking, I was just thinking about how I didn't like the food. So being there for so long, and what's funny is when I lived there, I was culture shocked. Like I grew up in a Dominican household where we cooked everything. We never had raw meat. Like my mom would literally sit there with lemon, like, never eat raw meat, salt, like, this is bad, you're gonna die. So that's what I grew up to. So when I got to Japan and they're like, here's sushi and here's this, and I'm like, that fish is not cooked. And people are just eating it, and they would have eels, and you spray soy sauce on the eel, and it would just move because the nerves were still alive, and people are eating. And I was just like, what is this? And I'm here for 3 months? So I ate bread and rice and eggs for 3 months. And you know what's funny is I couldn't read the food either. So I would go to the grocery store, and I couldn't always have like my chaperone. So sometimes I'd go to the grocery store, and I'm walking through the grocery store trying to read stuff, and it looks like milk, but when I got home, it was like tofu or like just different stuff. And like kids would follow me around the grocery stores, and like if I was in restaurants, they would sit like, and they would be like this. They would do like this, looking to me.
The brown woman.
Huh? Yeah, like just kind of like indulged in like what I looked like, but the food was definitely bad for me. What's funny though is I left Japan, came back to the U.S., opened my stores, lived here, and then I started working on projects that required me to go to like Japan and China again. So I was in Japan probably like twice a year to some level of my career. And as I went back again, I started to, okay, let me actually try this sushi. Let me actually try this. And I started to like try things with other people, because at that point I wasn't living there. I was coming back with coworkers that were like in my same like grade, if that makes sense. And we would explore, and then I started learning like, and I was in Tokyo when I went back to Japan. So I wasn't in Osaka and like this like really like work city type. Tokyo was like a whole different like lifestyle. And I met American people in Tokyo. I met people from like all over the world. And they are the ones that started to get me like, nah, you have to try this conveyor belt sushi. And it's like you sit there and there's a conveyor belt that goes around and it brings you the sushi, but it's fresh. And yeah, you have to put the ginger with this and try this. If you just eat it like that, it's not gonna work. So I'm like, oh. Yeah. So after a while, I love Japanese food now. Yeah. But when I first lived there, it was culture shock. I was like, y'all need to cook this rice. The rice was cold.
The sticky rice?
Yeah, it didn't make, and then when I would order food, they give you small portions. Yep. Because they're very healthy. Like they don't indulge. They're very, like I said, they're a collectivist community, so they don't overly feed you. They all care. Like they don't, if you leave food on a plate, they'll charge you. It's disrespectful. So it's like, they're very thoughtful, and so I would get food, and I was just like, okay, more, and the chef would be like, ooh, she wants more, America, more. Like send her more. Like they would get very excited because I'm like, more food. Yeah. But yeah, it's a cool culture.
This is gonna sound like it's great. Everything I know about Japanese culture, or most of what I know, I learned from watching animes. I like animes. It's one of my favorite ones, Bleach. It's one of my favorite animes.
Okay.
That's how I found out about sticky rice.
Oh, yeah.
was by animes. But sushi, my sister, she really likes sushi. So she's like, dang, you tried the sushi, I'm like, it's not cooked, I'm like you. And I like salmon. Like salmon is probably one of my favorite fish. I like salmon. So she's like, oh yeah, this is salmon, try this sushi, this type of sushi. So I'm like, and she's like, it's my favorite one. I said, well, don't give me your favorite one, because I don't want to waste it. Because I don't like it. So she's like, no, go ahead, try it. So I mean, I put it in my mouth, I go to take a bite, and I'm like, no, I can't do it.
You have to get used to it. You have to just,
definitely an acquired thing.
Yeah, but you have to just go in and like think of like, just try it, indulge in the culture, and just try it.
Yeah, maybe one day.
It's acquired,
at that
for
table
sure.
And I'm negotiating the deal, and they're like, "Oh, bring out sushi," then I'm probably
right. That makes sense. You got to.
I got to. I need
swallow it or whatever you got to do.
You need that deal. You tried the sake?
Yeah, but I didn't drink as much when I was there, just because I didn't know what I was drinking.
I tried that before. That's intense.
I think sometimes it's hot too, so you can take the shot and it's hot. But it was fun. Japan was fun. Wow, I'm thinking about those days.
And that's cool to me. Like, I like different cultures. I like different cultures' food. Your food, I'm a fan of that.
Dominican,
food.
yeah.
Oh my gosh, I don't know, something about the way that it tastes. I mean, it's just my thing. You know, especially like Caribbean food. My wife is Jamaican, so oh my gosh, like I don't know what it is, man. I think God was like, gonna make me Jamaican, and then he was like, oh, you know what?
He changed his mind.
Yeah, but he left the Jamaican residue on me.
Right,
Man,
yeah. It's the seasoning and how we cook stuff, and it's about the seasoning. Like the little things make a difference. My mom, when she makes rice, she puts the oil in the pot, lets it get very hot, puts salt in the oil, and like it gets hot to the point, it doesn't burn, but it gets really hot, and then she puts the water in. and then she puts, after the water boils, then she puts the rice in. Whereas other people will just put the water in, then they'll put the oil in the water.
Yeah.
But there's something about the oil getting hot and almost burning a little bit that changes the taste with the salt in it, that changes the taste of the water. So there's just little things.
That makes a lot of sense. 'Cause
Yeah,
I
it's all
mean,
chemistry. I failed that class.
I didn't even do it.
You're like, I didn't even try. I didn't even show up.
Well, okay, so chemistry, you learned that in college, right? Or did you do high school?
High
Is
school, yeah, so you really didn't go to
I
chemistry
got my,
class.
I got my GED, so
Oh,
D.L. Hughley.
I don't know if they teach,
up,
do they
brother?
teach chemistry? They,
I don't even know.
Okay.
I didn't go to school. I was one of the, I didn't go to school.
It's not for everyone. I feel like especially now with how things are changing,
You don't
especially
need
when
school
at
to make
college,
money
I mean,
anymore.
you should. Let me just backtrack. Go to school, okay? Especially for my young girls that I educate. Go to school. Okay?
Yeah, y'all go to school.
But what I'm saying is that you can still make something out of yourself.
Yeah.
Like, for example, my sister has three daughters, and her goal is to not force them to go to college. She's like, I want to be able to, she like has a fund that she's starting for them. So by the time they graduate high school, she's going to
Yeah.
basically give them funds and say, you do what you want. You either want to start a business or you want to use this for school.
Man.
Or like you want to invest it, but
Yeah.
like she's very big on like, because I went to a private school and like, I mean, you're looking at like $50,000 a year of tuition.
Gee, what? Oh, you went to a private college? Mm-hmm. Oh, I thought you meant like high school, like private school.
No,
like high
private
school.
college. And my
Oh,
sister went
Jesus.
to American University, which was a private university. And she's, yeah, I wouldn't talk about that, but she's still paying that back. She's going to be paying that back till she's like 80. But
Jesus.
the point is, I just, it's not worth it. I mean, it is. Wait. Backtrack. Go to school, y'all. Go to school.
Oh my
Go to school.
gosh! I put it like this. This is the way I see it. Like, school is important. It's just not as necessary as it used to be.
Depending on your skill sets, I think it's
to make a
important.
decent living.
Yeah.
It's not as necessary as it used to be. So depending on where you want to go and what you want to do as an individual, because if you don't go to school, realize you're gonna fight that not going to school fight, and there is a certain type of fight. If you do go to school, there's a certain, like, it's to me, I look at and this could be like the video game part of me that comes out, but I look at life is like a game. Right? It's like a game. Not like, oh, we're gonna have fun and play this game, but like depending on whatever institution you want to get into or whatever you want to be, there's certain rules that apply to that field or that industry. And what we must do is figure out the rules that are applied to that industry.
Right.
You know, and in some cases, because you know, especially with my job, in some cases, you know, most cases, a degree is required to move in.
Like a lawyer or a
anywhere.
doctor. Like,
Yeah.
yes, you should definitely go to school.
You have to. I don't even know if any lawyers and doctors out there that, no, I think that's like that requirement. So
yeah, you have to. You have to get educated. And
so depending on what you want to do, it applies. But if you don't go to, if you choose to not go to, like you were saying with your sister, like if you don't go to school, you're gonna have to do some entrepreneur work, or you better get a trade. Because other than that, you're just gonna be.
Yeah, I think that's the key is like, again, I don't have children, but having like a good understanding of what you want to do, the younger you are and the more that you can cultivate those talents at a young age, I think you waste less time. Like if you're kind of like growing, and there's nothing wrong with like, I mean, I know people who have changed their career in their 30s and their 40s, so it's not, there's no right or wrong, it's just, it's like what you said, if it's a game, if you are trying to make it to this finish line, you have to go that way. You can't like try. So, I mean, it depends. Even for me, like as a musician, I didn't go to school for music. I know people who did go to school for music, and I think that would have helped me for sure. But I also don't think it's too late if I really wanted to master, just depending on what I'm trying to do. Like as a vocalist, I think vocal lessons for me are more important than actually going to school to learn production and all the extra stuff that they might force me to learn. So it just depends on what you want to do. And I think that's important for parents to like, identify in their kids at a young age, like what do they like? Do they like making things? Do they like singing? Do they like dancing? Are they into like body and, you know, blood and stuff like you can pick up what your kids are attached to and then steer them in the right path. So.
Yeah. And then too, like, even with what you do, school isn't necessary to success in that industry or in that field. It's not necessary. It would, like you said, it would help, but it's not necessary for success in it. So that's a great segue. I'm glad you brought that up, because now I want to get into like, what do you do? Things you are a part of, in the not-for-profit, right?
Yeah.
Excuse me. And you have your trusted,
PR.
yeah, is sitting over there. So you just talk a little bit about some of the stuff you're into.
Yes, first of all, shout out to Ursula James, the best PR manager in Florida. If you need her information, her name is The Stylish Communicator on Instagram, and you can find her.
I like the hat too.
She got on
rocking the hat.
the red bottom hat. It's cute.
It's hot.
Yeah, for me growing up, I've always had a lot of aspirations. Like, I've wanted to do a lot of things. I wanted to be an architect, I wanted to be a lawyer, I wanted to be a pilot, and a lot of things, but eventually I settled on, like, I really love fashion. I really love business management, and I'm very creative. And even with the music, I'm very creative. So I applied to be in fashion business school. And that's kind of where my career has taken me over the last 10 years. I've been able to do fashion. So on the other side, like my music, it kind of never left me.
Yeah.
To be honest, I think I just kind of was like, right out of college, it was between like either pursuing music or pursuing this fashion and joining this brand in Japan that was gonna pay for me to live there, and all, like the money for me was like, oh, this makes most sense. And I'm glad I did that, because even now I can fund my passion for music because of where I am in life. So it's never like, I always tell people, like, don't regret anything. Like, life happens and God's in control, and you might make decisions, but like there's always a way to get you back on track. So now I'm focused a lot more on my music, but it's more fun for me. Like, I mean, I know artists where it's like, that's what they do. And the industry can be stressful because it's very, like, you're competing with all of the media. Like, you're competing with all these people that are also, have way more money and way more backing, and like, it's just a lot. So, and there's a lot of pressure. So for me, I love where I am in the industry. I think I can definitely go farther, but it's more like, at my pace, at my time. I fund myself, I'm independent, but there's no such thing as being independent because there's always people that help you. But from a like label standpoint, I'm independent. I don't have a label. So, well, I am my own label. So those are just things that I do. And then on the other positive side, I also give back to the community. So I have my nonprofit called the Time for Tea Foundation, which Ursula is a part of. And what we do is we serve confidence with a cup of tea. And we host events for women where we bring women together to network, specifically focused on diversity and creating like engagement over tea, like just having open and honest conversations. And what we do with the young girls in the community, and this is really how we give back, is we teach them etiquette. So I'm in the process right now of relaunching our etiquette trainings over the summer. So we have a few programs that have reached out that want us to do that with them. I'm very proud of the team and like the work that we've done, but I know there's a lot more to do. But I think we've done this for 3 years now, and over the last 3 years, we've been able to impact 300 girls in Orange County, and just training on like etiquette and social skills. And with everything happening now, especially with all the stuff in the media, it's really made me think about like where I want to take the training and the direction of my training, because it is social skills training. So we don't just train on like etiquette and, you know, tea and table manners, but we also train on building your confidence and showing up in your best way. But I also work with a lot of minority colored young girls. So it's just with everything going on in the media, it really challenges me to like revamp my program a little bit around the truth. Like, having those, it's unfortunate that we have to have those conversations where it's like, because you look this way, you have to be careful, especially with what just happened on the media with, you know, rest in peace, Micaiah. But you have to, I don't like to say unfortunate, because when you say it's unfortunate, you have to accept what happened, and it's sad. I just think it's not fair that we have to train our children of color to fear or to almost like act a certain way around authority.
Yep.
Instead of feeling like, you know, a police or whatever authority figure is there to help and protect you when you see them
Right.
and you're fighting for your life, stop what you're doing because now you're not just fighting this person, you have somebody else
Yep.
that might take your life.
Yep.
So, I mean, that was just, it was unfortunate. There's a lot of controversial talk around it, and I'm not even gonna get into it. I understand both sides. I mean, I think you know what I'm talking about, but
Yeah.
with that incident, it's just, I don't think anyone deserves to ever die because they're defending themselves.
No.
Or even if there's just, girls of color don't deserve to die.
No.
So we have to do better, but anyway, that takes me back to what I'm really thinking about is like, how do I also include things in my training that just help people make better decisions?
Yeah.
Because the whole thing was a recipe for disaster on both ends.
Yep.
So it was one of those things where it's like, what you have to do when you're in a situation where there's authority and we know that there are people losing their lives because they're fighting back and because
Yeah.
you're of color, at this point in life, it's about you keeping your life.
Yeah.
So don't fight back.
Yeah.
Like, just do what you have to do and stay calm. And, you know, I blame her father too, but whatever. So.
That's, man, even I don't want to get too deep in it because literally we could spend the rest of the time here, and I want to talk about more about what you do. But like, for me, it's one of those things where, and I told my coworkers this because we were talking about it. Being a person of color, like there's no regard to preserving your life. Like there's no, you know, there's not a desire. I don't feel like there's a strong enough desire to preserve your life coming from authority. And it's not, I know it's not every cop. I'm not going to say it's everyone. That would be ignorant to say. But for the cases that you see, you know, there's not a desire to preserve your life. There's not an urgency to make sure that you're straight. So with that being said, and you know, it's like drawing straws. You don't know which one is going to show up when you make the call. You don't know which one you got. You don't know who's showing up. So because there's no way to actually know that, and you being a person of color, you just have to move with that in mind. You don't let it stop you. You don't let it hinder. Don't let that stuff stop what you're doing. Still pursue and strive to dominate whatever that you're in. But just know that that stigma is on you.
Yeah.
Just because you're a person of color. And before it was being a male of color. Now,
It's just having color.
it's just having color. And that's sad because I have 2 black men that I'm raising and a black woman. I'm married. I got siblings, got sisters, my mom. So now it's just like a dang. Before it was like, you know, hey, you a black man, you got 2 strikes against you. You know, we had that conversation between men, but now you got to include women into that too.
And young women at that.
Freaking
people that are underage.
don't even got a chance to even show life what they got. You know what I'm saying? And to me, that's more infuriating than, and losing black period is infuriating. But the fact that it's now like it's youth and that's displayed, it's on social media. If you want to watch a kid get murdered, you can watch that right now.
Yeah.
It's freaking insane to me, man. God, that makes me upset. So let's talk a little bit about what you're into, because the nonprofit is dope, but the organization that you have is freaking amazing. So I guess talk a little bit about, you know, you moving, you know, into the things that you're doing, because I'm always fascinated. You talked a little bit about your why. I'm always fascinated with, you know, the process a person goes through to getting there. That's what encourages me even the people watching, because I think sometimes we can, even the fact of where we are now, the fact that we have technology at our fingertips, we got the world at our fingertips, we got computers in our pockets, we sometimes miss the fact that this life is a whole process. You don't get to where you get to right now. You didn't just wake up one morning and just become who you are and have what you have. You had to work for that. You know? Even people say, oh, well, she had this and she had that, she had this. You still got to prove yourself in that area.
Yeah.
You know, no matter what opportunities or what doors open up before you, you have to make that happen. So I guess talk a little bit about, where does that come from for you? And what things do you think about? What things do you overcome? And how do you remain where you are?
Like on my path. Yeah, I mean, I think it has a lot to do with your upbringing, who you are around, who you're surrounded with. And I always give, the glory back to God because he's the author of my story. So, and being able to understand that for me is why I can confidently walk through certain doors or walk with an authority where I know, like, this is what I'm supposed to be. Like, it's already been predestined, so I'm just walking into it. But even that mindset didn't come from anywhere. It came from my mother. So my mother, like, there's a secret that I'm just like, if you want to raise children who are confident, don't ever call them stupid. Don't ever tell them to shut up. Don't ever, like, speak ill about them, even if they're young and you think they're not listening and like, oh, you know, yeah, he never listens. He's so dumb. Like, never in my life, to this day, did I ever hear my mother say a word about me that was ill.
Wow.
And I heard other people say stuff. Because I'm a twin, and we were hurricane and tornado. We were 2 tropical storms. So we were wild. I'm talking like if we saw anything shiny, just imagine 2 girls, 2 years old, just knocking stuff left and right. My mom wouldn't get invited anywhere. And people would be like, oh, they're crazy. Like we would fight at church, like go up to the altar pulling each other's, like it was bad. We were known as like traviesas. That's like really bad. They would call us that.
Is there video of this?
No, man. Where did I find? There's pictures, and you could see in the pictures we were mischievous. You could see in our eyes. Yeah. We sit there like, I mean, but there's a lot of stories that come from it that people still to this day tell us, like, yo, you remember y'all were so bad, and now you guys are like so calm, and we never thought we thought y'all was gonna go to jail or prison or something because we were bad. Yeah. But people would always say, oh, they're come the traviesas. Those girls, they don't know what they did. Oh, they don't. And my mom would say, don't say that about my daughters. They're angels. And we're literally there like, and my mom's like, those are angels. Those are my children. They are women of God. And we're like, yeah, we're women of God.
That's crazy.
But my mom was like, she's my #1 fan.
Yeah.
So my mom believing in me and hearing that. And when you're young, you're a sponge. And that stuff sticks. Like, I don't remember a lot. But I remember my mom's words where she would say, don't say that about my daughters. No, they're angels. No, they're great. They're destined for greatness. My mother would pray for us every night, and hearing her pray, the way she would pray, like, you know, God, fulfill your prophecy in them. These are going to be, like, they're going to make a difference. They're going to rule nations. They're going to, so I'm sitting there like, yeah. Ooh, I'm going to rule nations. Yeah. Anyway, that's the secret is, like, if you have children, because everyone has a parent, you know, and even if it's not a parent, if you have youth around you where you have an ability to inspire them, because a lot of successful people, it didn't come from their parents, it might have come from a teacher or an aunt or a grandmother that believed in them and just poured into them. And all you need is one person who's constantly talking about what you can do and where you can go. So I would say that that's been my secret. And so for me, it's just the confidence around, like, I know I'm destined for more. So I can't, I mean, Ursula knows. I don't sit still. I can't. And people are like, oh, you should hang out more. You should do it. I'm like, for what? I got things to do, places to go, people to meet. Like, destiny's calling. Like, I can't just be out here, like, chilling, watching television. Well, I do watch a lot of television, but on my own time.
Fact.
But yeah, I think that's it. So the key is your upbringing and people around you, mentorship, and then the other key is honestly, like, even like you mentioned, like you feel like I have a pretty good set of like direction, but to this day I call my sisters and my best friends and every day, and I'm like, yo, I'm failing in life. Like, I can't. I'm just I don't even know if I want to do this anymore. Like, my best friend is so tired of hearing about, like, yo, is this song even good? Like, should I put it out? Like, I don't even and then my sister, like, yo, this website, like, I've been trying, I don't even want to do this anymore. And it's every day. Like, it's a battle in the mind. So it's not whatever people see. Like, people see everything that you're doing, but all of the people that are close to me, even like Ursula knows with Time for Tea, I'm like, did we do that right? Like, is that even like, should we? Sometimes we have events on the calendar, I'm like, cancel it. Just cancel it. like, we can't even do it, man. We can't even find the right speaker. Wow. But I lean on people a lot because I need the affirmation and I need people to reaffirm me of what I'm doing. But that's important for the right people, because you can also do that and get people that are telling you, just give up, just don't do it. Nah, that's too hard. So I've learned to stay away from those people, but I absolutely need my circle.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I wouldn't be here.
That I like that, and that circle is extremely important. And I've learned that, like, especially with doing this, because those same phone calls you're making, I make this. I just made one this week. What's up, Ramses? I literally made one this week to that guy, man, because I mean, I was going through it. I was in a big mind fight, man, and you need that. You need someone just to like kind of like bring you back down. You know what I'm saying? To remind you of you. Honestly, is what it is. It's just reminding you of you, because sometimes the outside voices and sometimes the inner voices can be going so loud that you forget a minute for a second about you, and you need people around you that can see that part of you and that are familiar with that part of you to say, that ain't even you.
Right, like, what's
who you
going
are.
on?
Yeah. Sometimes you need someone to hold that mirror up in front of you. And my wife is huge at that with me. Huge. Oh my gosh.
That's good.
Let me tell you, the stuff I be telling that woman, Jesus. But like you were saying, like people, and I've said this before on my show, and I try to be transparent with it, man, because a journey is not easy. And sometimes even being a believer, especially sometimes believers, I think that we misjudge this journey. And we just expect this
God's gonna
genie
do it
God.
all.
And you said it before I even said it.
Faith without works is what?
It's dead.
Yep.
And like, man, and like, sometimes I think we can expect, and I just want to help people not to say, I just want to put it in perspective so you don't expect something that's not real. And sometimes we can expect God to do things that he's just not going to do. And I know there's a lot of controversial things behind TD Jakes. People feel all type of ways about him, but this man said something that I'm taking to the grave with me.
He always be saying something.
This man said, God doesn't make tables and chairs. He makes trees. He makes trees, people. We make tables and chairs. So like,
come on,
your life and your story, like God gave you these trees and you got to get out there, and he ain't going to cut it down either.
Yeah.
Maybe a hurricane may come and blow it down randomly, but how often does that happen? Most of the time you see the men out there with them machines and they cutting these trees down. You're going to have to, and I said this one time in a video, there's a forest around you. Find your forest, cut down them trees and get to work. And then God will empower you to work.
Yeah.
He will bless
Inspire
your
you.
labors, but he can't bless what ain't working. So like, and the conversation I be having with my wife is like, dang, just working, we ain't got this, we don't got that. This person said no, oh, somebody canceled it. You just get all these things, man. And her, my brother, I remember, I'm rambling, but I remember once, like episode 6. I mean, we just started. Episode 6. Oh man, that was a tough week. We had a cancellation like day of.
Dang.
And this is back when I was doing lives. So like, now I'm doing pre-records, but before I was doing lives, and I told my wife, I was like, oh Lord. But I was like, I'm going live by myself.
There you go.
And that was, and I just did a monologue. And that was people got engaged, and literally up to that point, that was like my highest engaged, episode. And I was like, dang, and it was the shortest one, and it was literally but I told my wife, I said, I'm gonna do this because I feel like this is something that's internal. This ain't about the people. This ain't about what's happening out there. This is a statement to my future, where I'm going. This is what this one is. And ever since that episode, man, I mean, it's been going since then.
Wow.
And we're here now. And so that's a blessing in itself. But
as you were saying that, I was like, well, you're never really alone because you got you, yourself, and I. And I'm like, I just put myself in your position, like, what would happen if I had a show? This is how I think. If I had a show and I had to do it by myself, and I was stuck with me, myself, and I was like, dang, that'd be weird because I'd be talking about some weird stuff. But I wanted to tag on to that before we moved on to the topic, because it kind of leads into like, even with relationships,
right.
When you talked about like faith and God needing to provide you with some of the resources, but you have to like take the step to do it. I actually learned a huge lesson this year about relationships where I was like, okay, God, at this point, I'm 31 years old, and I'm like, it's not working out with the people that I've tried, and I actually, like, I listed out, okay, these are all the people I've had in my life, and what is the pattern? Because that's the way that I feel the enemy works, is like, he always comes the same wolf, different fur, like different sheepskin.
Right.
So I realized, like, okay, there's a pattern here, and I need to put everything in God's hand instead of myself trying to seek something, because I have to understand that, like, there's certain things I can control, like where I spend my money and like what I eat for dinner, but like what opportunities come to me and what's right for me in my life, that's up to God, or that's up to the universe, or whatever people want to call it. So that was a lesson I learned this year, is like, I'm going to stop looking, or I'm going to stop trying to be in control of everything in my life, and I'm just going to instead listen and let things happen organically. And I had a mentor that told me, like, you should just look for low-hanging fruit. Like, things that are easy to reach are most likely the things that God is trying to put in your path. So even with Time for Tea, like, that was something that we've been doing that was not officially a nonprofit. And I'm sitting here doing all these events and doing things, and immediately I'm like, that's low-hanging fruit. There's obviously an organic following that's growing here. Make it official. Like, stop focusing on everything else. Focus on what's here, what you already have built, and make that official, because that's what's going to eventually get you everything else you want. So I just wanted to, like, add that, because it kind of goes into the idea of, like, not just thinking that things are going to come, but like you have to do your work, but you also have to pay attention.
Yeah, you do. My bad. That was a sneeze.
Didn't come out.
Because I didn't want to. I didn't want to make it too loud over what you were doing. So I was like trying to hold it in, but it was close up on you, so nobody even knew it. Dang it! I just put myself out there. But I want to talk a little bit about confidence real quick. But before we get to there, like, I think even when it comes to the relationship, right? When it comes to the relationship side of it, especially for a woman, one of the things that I've learned, and I'm 35, right? I'm 35, and I really didn't start. I knew that I wanted to be married, like, later on in my life, and I just started making, those adjustments. But a lot of times too, even when it comes to like, because a lot of people say that, oh, God is going to bring me my person, God is going to bring my person, and God is going to do it, which is fine. If we could take that strand of logic. But another thing too is, it's just like a job interview, right? It's just like going to a job interview. A company is not going to interview a person if they don't have a position available. Mm-hmm. They don't just interview just to stack up. A person's not going to go looking for a job unless they need a job. They're not going to go to an interview unless they need a job. Well, most people don't. You're not going to take a job interview if you're not looking to get a job. That's a waste of time. And it takes me back to intentional dating, right? Mm-hmm. Intentional dating. If a man is desiring to marriage, the same thing that a woman wants. If a woman wants to get married, she shouldn't be going on dates with men that don't want to be married. Yeah. Like literally, we're not even going to. I'm not trying to knock nobody game or nobody hustle, but if there's not, and I had to learn this too, because I wasn't dating with intention early in my life. But as I've gotten older, I've learned these things. It's a waste of time. If a man is not trying to get married, if he's like, hey, if he's not looking for a wife, because he who finds a wife finds a good thing. You're a wife before your husband gets to you. You're a wife. There's certain traits of a wife. He who finds a wife finds a good thing. If he's not looking for a wife, then a woman that's a wife and wants to be a wife, I'm not even gonna waste my time with you. But then at the same time too, a woman has to put herself in front of men looking for wives. Now, I'm explaining that to you. So we always hear about the Ruth and Boaz situation. That's the most famous thing. Women love that story. Men love that story. Fine, I get it. But with that being said, if a woman wants to be a wife to a certain type of man, What she then has to do is find out what that man wants, what he's looking for, and where is he at. And then put herself in front of those type of men. Because men are the key to relationship. Women, you got them aggressive women out there, oh, I'm gonna do this, and they propose to their man, and they do all that type of stuff. Okay, fine, but what is the consistent norm? Men control relationships. You don't become a wife or you don't do anything like that without a man first taking interest in you and pursuing you. So that's the whole thing. And I think where it's at now, and I don't want this to be a whole relationship rant, but where it comes for me is, to me, I'm married now, so whatever, but what I say to a lot of my friends or whatever, when you're looking for a wife, if you're looking for a woman, know what you want to get into, know what you want, and then go get that. You know what I'm saying? People have this whole thing with settling, and it's not settling if that's what you could get. You know? So, I don't know. That's how I feel about it.
Man, these dudes out here just wasting my time. Not you, I'm saying like the dudes. Like,
I'm just saying.
But no, you that makes sense. Like dating with intention, and as a woman, and honestly, a lot of it is like, as a woman, you put yourself in a situation where it'll go as far as you let it. I'm gonna be honest. I've been in situations where I've dated someone, and they told me flat out they're not looking for a wife, and I'm just like, but you're cute, so no.
That'll get you, boy.
And then they get you, and you're like, dang, man, you're not that cute no more after
We're
6 months.
We're visual creatures, though.
Yeah.
So the looks play a huge part.
Yeah. So, but you're right. You just let me know what website that is that you saying the woman gotta go on with the guys that know what they want.
You got it. I mean,
I don't know if that's here or in a different country.
Hey, man, listen. It's here.
Okay, you let me know.
It's here. But see, I don't think. I really do believe it's here because all of my friends are married or engaged. When it comes to my brothers, but a lot of my brothers are awesome people. What up, y'all? But they don't want to be married, you know.
Yes, don't even look in my direction.
But I'm just saying. But like, there are men out there that want to be married that are looking for wives. But my thing is with the women is to like, hey, where are those men at?
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know.
Where are those men at?
Donde?
So where are those men at? Then you got to look at it. You got to look at geographically. If there's a certain type of man that you want, where does that man live? Where do they go?
Tall,
you know
and like from the mountains.
You can't
be like a tree.
You can't be in a city or in a
I want him wearing
area.
boots and like flannel.
Yeah, you can't be in an area where the population is like 3,000 talking about you trying to.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna work.
And I feel like that with Florida too. That's why I'm kind of like, it might be time to try something else.
Go where they're at.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just.
Yeah.
Let's go where they're at.
We'll see.
What is that? What does that even mean?
Canta, sing in Spanish. She wants me to sing. You want me to sing for real? Oh, I'll do something at the end.
We're at it.
Oh, how long do you want me to sing for? Like,
I don't know. Whatever you.
Okay, let me see. Ain't no city with a view so high. We can't conquer if we learn to fly. You put all your faith in me. Stick together like Bonnie and Clyde. Headed to the top, let's enjoy the ride. I'll be everything you need. Baby, it's you and I.
Hey.
Let's light the world on fire. Baby, it's you and I. Let's light the world on fire. This is the moment. It's golden. The throne's in the open. Let's build an empire.
Hey!
Yeah. That's my first song I ever wrote, recorded called Empire.
That's
my hit.
really good. Oh my gosh.
Right?
Man. Listen, y'all need to go follow this. That's dope. Tell them where they can follow you. Put out your
Yes.
socials and all that stuff.
Through all social media, Tracey Phipps, and that's Tracey with an EY and Phipps with a PHIPPS, and that's on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, everything.
Dang, that's really good, man. I appreciate you sitting down here and talking with me.
Thanks for having me. This was great.
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
that this was very organic.
Yeah.
Nothing planned. We literally had some like really organic conversation.
Yeah, that's what I do. I'm inviting you back. Like,
Awesome.
hands down, you coming
Yeah, I
back.
will be here, especially if there's free food. No, I'm just joking.
Free food. Don't tell him that. But yeah, no, I appreciate you. So thank y'all so much for watching this episode. Thanks for subscribing to the YouTube. And I say that because you don't watch my stuff and not subscribe. Y'all not them type of people. Y'all subscribe. So thank you for subscribing. Want to say, follow the guest, man. Her socials are going to be in the description of this video, so y'all can go down and check her out. Want to say what's up to our partners, taxmoney123.com. Reach out to them for all your accounting and tax needs. Trust me, they dope people. Pinka, and then my favorite, most beautiful partner, my wife, Oksana, the legacy coach. Their info is in the description of this video as well. Thank y'all so much for watching. We'll see y'all next time. Deuces. Fist bump, Tracey.
This is dope.